You need to activate, you need to be mobile, you need to be strong at end range, and you will limit your injuries that way.
Welcome to the Movement Driven Podcast with Dr. Greg Goldberger, where we help you bridge the gap between pain and performance. Each week, we'll share strategies, insights, and real-life applications to help you keep moving and stay driven. Now, let's get into this week's episode of the Movement Driven Podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Movement Driven Podcast. I'm your host, Dara Sweat, and I'm here with Dr. Greg Goldberger. Greg, how you doing today?
Happy New Year!
Not yet.
What?
It's New Year's Eve. We can't.
I can't tell the people Happy New Year?
No, you can.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it is New Year's Eve. I literally cannot believe this is the last day of the year, 2025. I feel like it started off going so slow, and then just from like the summer on, it has been like hyper speed. And, I'm only freaking out a little bit because I am, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days away from my wedding.
So exciting.
Yeah.
Are you all, you have everything ready to go? Everything's done.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah, this is
Right.
this is kind of the coast period where I'm just kind of trusting that everything is.
I was being sarcastic,
Yeah.
but if you're in that good place, that's great.
Well, I've constantly had to remind myself that I am marrying my best friend, and our family and friends are going to be around. And you know what? My dress is going to be amazing, and I know my hair and makeup is going to look great, and that's really all that matters. My photos, my videos, recapturing everything is going to be spot on. So that's the mindset. I'm, with previous episode, we talked about breathing. I'm still taking that. I'm still taking some of those notes in with me today.
For sure. Even the bad things will make it special. So just embrace it all.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people keep saying. So we're looking forward to it. But all right. So for today, last episode of the year, I want to talk about, we're going to keep this one short, but talk about something that's very, very important. Mobility versus flexibility versus stability, and what you actually need for pain-free movement. So I kind of want to dive into the differences and definitions of what those are, and then we can kind of get into asking some good questions.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's a super important topic. And these are terms that I throw around all the time, and I might interchange them accidentally sometimes, like the flexibility and mobility stuff. But I think understanding this is important because I so often have people say, "Oh, I did these stretches and then I didn't feel better." I'm like, "Why do you think stretches are the only thing you're supposed to be doing?" It's a layperson, and I'm not judging it. It's not what you should be doing, and this hopefully will answer some of those questions. But yeah, let's first start off by defining them. So I'll try to keep it as simple as I can. So flexibility is how far a muscle can lengthen passively, i.e., Dara, you're lying down on your back and I put your foot up and stretch your hamstring. How far can I move you will dictate your hamstring muscle flexibility or your hamstring length. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Mobility. How far can you move with control? So if you're on your back and I stretch your hamstring to 90 degrees, it's your passive flexibility. Your mobility is how far can you get your leg up when you just move it on your own with a straight knee? Can you get the full 90? Can you only get 75? How much mobility do you have in terms of how much can you move with control in the amount of flexibility you have available to you? Does that make sense?
Yes, makes a lot of sense.
Cool. Okay. Now, stability is how well you can control the joint through a range of motion under load or tension or in a functional motor pattern, right? So can you be at any point within that range of flexibility and mobility that you have and have really good control and be able to take on load from other stimuli or other inputs from different directions well? Can you stabilize in different positions? Can you hold postures? Can you stabilize your shoulder joint while it's throwing a baseball?
Yeah.
That's stability.
Yeah.
So I hope that kind of lays it out as clearly as possible for the people.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, just to kind of maybe make it in layman's terms, to say it in a way that maybe a regular patient would kind of download it. So flexibility, would be like when you are stretching, like how far can you stretch? Like if you're doing a forward fold, for example, can you touch the floor?
Hmm.
Or do you have to kind of doll rag your hands because, your hamstrings are tight and you can't reach all the way? And then as far as like mobility goes, like with let's take I do CrossFit, right? So let's take the a power clean for example, and I see this all the time when I'm coaching that, some people cannot get their elbows to go up to the ceiling. Is That's
Hmm.
my cue for them. Is like go all the way up to the ceiling, point your elbows to the ceiling, and some
Hmm.
people can't get that because of their lack of mobility there. And sometimes it doesn't matter really how much, at least some of my athletes complain about. It doesn't matter how much mobility I do, I can't get my shoulder up there. I'm like, okay.
Right.
But and then that stability, I immediately think of yoga when you're trying to do like a tree pose or something where you're kind of holding one leg, but your arm is doing something different, and you're twisting a certain way, and you're supposed to remain balanced. Or like you said, for a baseball pitcher who's about to throw a ball, or just anything like that. That's how kind of I understand it and download it. So
Yeah.
what you say makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and all of that's right. I would add to it, like in your example of the mobility for like that specific shoulder exercise, then it's like, well, do you have the mobility to do with no weight or a PVC pipe? And then when you load it, you lose some of that.
Mhm.
That's the stability part or the
Right.
strength and control part. You
Right.
have the mobility to do it, but once I load you with tension, you lose the stability.
Hmm.
And that might be at a very low weight, or maybe it's super heavy and it like that makes sense. You should lose some stability at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
But if there's a drastic drop off between these three different things, that's where we see the disconnect and that's where we see the injuries happen.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned when we kind of first started that, some of your patients, or at least one of your patients, would stretch all the time or claim they stretch all the time, but
Oh my God, I
really
hear it all. I hear it every day. Yeah.
is not getting better. And I hear this too when I'm helping kind of getting people on the books, and people are saying, like, oh, like, I've been doing all these stretches that I saw on YouTube, and
Yep.
this is not working and it's not working. So why is it that stretching is not improving the issue?
I think stretching is especially the way most people stretch, you're only going to get like some temporary muscle relaxation from stretching. Like even the people stretching to lengthen a muscle are not usually doing it the right dosage to do that. Like you have to stretch muscles 2+ minutes multiple times a day throughout. Like it can't just be, well, I stretched for 30 seconds and nothing's happening. Like no, sorry, no,
Mm.
Sherlock. um it's stretching to me, not that it's a waste of time because I tell people to stretch, but you're not accomplishing what you think you're accomplishing, simply
Right.
put, right? And usually people have a decent amount of their muscle length necessary isn't the problem. It's more about like this protective tension. We've talked about this in muscle guarding before. We've talked about it in relation to fascia in the fascia episode a few weeks back. But this protective tension where your body's just in this mode where it doesn't know how to interpret certain things, or maybe it's restricted in fascial movement and it's just holding on tight to protect, and the muscle is shortened, but it doesn't mean it can't lengthen once it's relaxed. It
Mhm.
has the ability to lengthen, but right now it's shortened. So what you're doing is you're stretching it and you're relaxing that protective tension, but we didn't address the underlying root cause of that protective tension, right? We just put a band-aid on it and you feel good for 20 minutes after you stretched, and then it slowly creeps back. So that tells me, well, you have the flexibility, but you don't necessarily have the mobility and stability throughout the range. And that's where the strengthening and, and the proper loading of the system come into play.
Yeah. So basically stretching feels good, but it doesn't really solve the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it can definitely be part of the problem solving
Mhm.
rehab experience, but it cannot be the main part at all. No.
Right. Yeah. So what are some ways to tell if you need mobility or stability when you're kind of experiencing this tightness or this injury, or whatever it is that you need this to kind of help you get over that?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is where you need a skilled assessment from a PT or a movement expert, right? Obviously, that's the easy answer. But like for instance, like if I'm assessing that, I have to look at what we kind of just said. Can I stretch you to a certain place? Like I see it, for instance, a lot of the time with shoulder mobility. So if we go into our golfers, if you're a golfer and you get into your backswing, that back arm. So if you're a righty golfer, that right arm has to get a tremendous amount of external rotation of the shoulder. So I need that hand to be able to rotate behind my head. I see all the time where I can get people and I can push them and their shoulder moves just fine when I push them. But when they move there, they can't control it. They can't move it. So they are lacking the mobility that they need, and they are lacking the strength and stability at the end range that they need. And so stretching till you don't need to stretch. You already have this flexibility. I got you there. Look, I just pushed you there right now. It's easy. You got it. No problem. But you can't load into that position. So then you can't get there on your own. I'm not holding your hand while you're golfing. I can't put you in position in your golf swing as much as you think you want me to.
You have had patients say they wish that they could carry you around in their pockets.
There's a price for everything, Dara. Nobody's offered me enough for that. But from a golf swing, I can't stop you mid swing. Like, we have to get you to be there. So in the assessment, I have to see, does your passive flexibility match to your active mobility? And when it doesn't, usually it doesn't, but when there's where you're not even, 2/3 of the way, well, that's a sign. We have to strengthen that area for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So when you're warming up for whether it's running or, some kind of workout, CrossFit, Hydrox, whatever it is that you're doing, bodybuilding,
Mm-hmm.
what should a or golfing, playing sports, what should a proper warm up include?
Well, I think the warm up can't just be passive stretching and like even just ballistic stretching. It has to be where we're actively moving into a full range. So like there's exercise called cars, which is like articular rhythmic movements where you're trying to get to the end range of your joint and moving in every which way. So that's something that's a really good warm up. But like just priming your muscles and moving within a big range against some resistance, like using resistance bands is a big thing for me in a warm up, priming the muscles and just getting them activated in full ranges. It's the reason why pitchers do a lot of like band work before they go throw, and they warm up the muscles in a full range against resistance before they go throw a ball as hard as they can 100 times. So I think it's just a matter of muscle activation has to be part of your warm up, not just cardiovascular. Oh, I got blood flowing and I did some hugs and some trunk twists and now I'm ready to go. Bullshit. Sorry for my language, but that's why you get hurt. You need to activate, you need to be mobile, you need to be strong at end range, and you will limit your injuries that way.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely some of the, I'm one of those patients that you guys have that actually does my homework, or at least like 90% of the time. Before every workout, it doesn't matter if we're doing heavy squats or lunges, or if it's, more upper body or whatever the case is. I always do my hip exercises, those hip windows, and then the reverse glute bridges and things like that to activate those muscles before I even start to stretch and do my warm up.
Right.
So
And Elsa, how did you start doing that? And the reason why you're staying with it is because you're noticing a huge difference during and after your workouts.
For sure. I've really not had, especially with running and everything else, I have not had the pain that I've had my first ACL tear was in 2010. It's 2025.
Right. And I don't want to brag. Well, I am going to brag to the people. How many times have you seen Elsa? Because I know how many.
I 3.
3. 3 people. Sorry, but
actually, I think that yeah.
There's another one going to be coming up this week or something.
Yeah. It has been 3. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's all. We could end the episode.
Well, but that's not to say that, that's the end all, whatever. We're building we're building.
That's not buddy. And I don't need to sound braggadocious to the people listening, but I say that to say that if we identify the right things and we get you moving the right way, and we know where you're stable or where you're not, and we know where your kinetic chain breakdown, all the stuff we've been talking about throughout the month of December. Like, honestly, this month of December has kind of summarized what's in my head, what's in Elsa's head every time we treat you guys.
Yeah.
And we don't want to overcomplicate it. Sometimes we find these things really quickly and it's like, oh, I wish somebody found that for you 14 years ago, Dara. Gosh darn it, man.
Yeah.
That stinks, but at least we found it now and you're moving better after 3 freaking visits, and that's amazing.
Oh yeah. And I can't wait to see what even more visits will do to help progress things moving forward, even so, because I still plan on, I've been in the wedding planning season and it's right around the corner, but at some point, I want to run a marathon, or I want to run a half marathon, But, but I want to be able to do that pain free. I want to maybe be able to do a
Sure.
couple local CrossFit competitions again, pain free. And the reason why I stopped doing those things and running as much as I did for a while was because it would hurt. And maybe
Mhm.
not while I'm doing it, but it would hurt later and hinder me from wanting to go back. So I'm just
Right.
really grateful for those easy, simple fixes, but that have really gone a long way. And I can only imagine like what level 3 is.
Well, and to that point, like what's so cool is when patients come in with certain goals and like we hit those pretty quickly, and I'm like, what's your next goal? And like they're like, oh, I didn't even I haven't thought about that in years. I could do more stuff now. And like
Yeah.
I can go run a marathon if I gosh darn want to, like
Hmm.
and so like people don't even see the possibilities until we kind of open up and they actually like, oh my God, this is real. This is lasting change. Now sky's the limit.
Yeah.
And so that's always cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before we wrap up, I want to talk a little bit more specifically to our golfers, desk workers, and our first responders, like some case studies or some examples that you can provide specifically for them when it comes to this mobility, flexibility, stability conversation.
Okay. Golfers. Let's go with golfers first. Hip rotation's a big one. Um, and this kind of goes to like our kinetic chain breakdown. But like hip rotation, I'll have people get on the mat and I'll stretch their hips and I'm like, your hip rotation's fine. Like it's not restricted at all. And then I'll have them stand and actively move their hips while planted weight through their entire lower extremity. And they have like half the range that I just tested them passively. So that's an instance of they have the the passive flexibility, but they don't have the control and when they're loading the system. And if you can't do it there, then obviously when you do a golf swing, now I don't care how much you stretch, you're not going to load it into the functional pattern of the golf swing. If you're just stretching passively, you're
Mhm.
stretching, you already accomplished it. You got to load it. You got to mobilize it now. You said desk workers.
Yes.
Um, I feel like they always want to stretch their upper back and stuff. Just doing that alone is not going to be enough. Like I'll give people like, oh yeah, stretch your upper back over a foam roller. That's just part of it. That's going to
Mhm.
get you the passive flexibility. But now we need rib mobility. We need to work on core control. We need to work on postural stability, endurance, and all those types of things to be able to maintain that posture.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. You said first responders too. That's
Yeah.
something we've been seeing a lot of. I think with that, they have to be in so many awkward positions loading. So like
Mhm.
for most people, oh, I'm a CrossFitter. You're in a very straight plane for a lot of your lifts. Like you
Mhm.
can just focus on form. But a first responder, you're lifting literal dead weight
Yeah.
in crazy positions while rotating and under stressful with already, if you're a firefighter, you have, I don't know how much pounds they carry, 50 pounds on their backs with tanks. It's crazy. And so what we really focus on with them is we have to gain the flexibility, then the mobility, but the stability, the ability to like rotate heavy while squatting. It's crazy. But that's where we have to take you. If you're somebody that's having pain on the job, we have to take you through your job experience type tasks and load you in those tasks to get you there. And so
Yeah.
that's that's what Elsa loves to work with those people for sure.
Oh yeah.
So see her.
Absolutely. Great. Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Gray. I cannot believe that the next time we meet, it will literally be next year. It's
Oh my God,
crazy.
it's crazy. It's so crazy.
Well, us at the Movement Driven team want to wish you guys a happy new year. If you are dealing with some stability, mobility, or flexibility issues, this is something that a full body assessment can help you out with. We can get you moving, get you pain free, get you thinking about goals that you never thought that you'd be able to achieve before by just 3 appointments.
Okay.
Yeah, we,
We don't make promises.
yeah, that might
Okay.
not be for everybody, but at the end of the day, it with the teamwork effort from us and from you, and kind of getting down to the root cause, we really can get you feeling better and moving in ways that you hadn't felt in years, and being able to tackle some of those accomplishes. So, if you're looking for somebody who can help you get to the root of the issue, who will listen to your problems and not just check some boxes, visit us at movementdriven.com. We'd be happy to see you and talk to you and get you started in the right direction.
See you in 2026, guys.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Dr. Greg. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in to the Movement Driven Podcast with Dr. Greg Goldberger. Want to see how we're helping people in Jacksonville bridge the gap between pain and performance? Head on over to movementdriven.com. Until next time, keep moving, stay driven.